Hello and thanks for joining the Diaspora on the NTA. Now, the need to know is about the most persistent in life. The potential of the diaspora in national development is a conquered territory in several other climes where diaspora contribution to gross domestic product forms an integral part of national planning. It is still work in progress in Nigeria, yes. But the takeaways from the probing visit, if you like, of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Diaspora, to the Finance Minister on Diaspora Bond, is very reassuring, as you will get to see. Also in this package is an insightful engagement with the Chairman Board of Directors, NAIDO in the Americas, Ndubisi George. Austin Amabude, an active member of NAIDO Canada, is our Diasporan of the Week, and rightly so after you savored his conversation with Joe Osiago on the role of individuals and the private sector in rebuilding Nigeria. You don't want to be told. Welcome to the Diaspora. I'm yours truly, Ogechi Paul. NAIDO Americas was established in Washington, D.C., on the firm belief that Nigeria's diaspora can make significant contribution to the nation's development. Here is the Chairman, Board of Directors, NAIDO in the Americas, Gabriel Ndubisi George, based in Atlanta, Georgia.
Engineer Ndubisi George, it's good to welcome you to the Diaspora.
Thank you.
We use this program to interact with our brothers living outside and to see and to feel their pulses, what's happening there, so it can also impact on this our own society.
Certainly.
Yeah. As Chairman Board of Directors, NAIDO Americas USA, can we understand what that means in the first place?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So NAIDO Americas was recently restructured to sort of have like a confederate tier where you have the Board of Trustees coordinating the affairs of the 4 member countries in the continent of the continent of America, meaning north and south of the American continent. So we have 4 countries: Belize, Canada, Brazil, and then of course the big country, United States.
Yeah.
So my responsibility is limited to, coordinating the affairs from the United States.
I see. Now, but NAIDO in itself, Nigeria in diaspora acquisition, does it now mean that what you do is restricted to the Americas, or do you also?
Very good question, because oftentimes this is really misconstrued or misunderstood.
Yes.
So NAIDO was initially conceptualized by our former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who came to America somewhere in 1999 and sort of felt the energy of Nigerian intellectuals and figured it would be best to sort of bring all Nigerian professionals on one platform.
Yes.
So that we will be able to engage our Nigerian government. So today we have NAIDO Americas as a continent, we have NAIDO Africa, we have NAIDO Europe, and NAIDO Asia. So we're the largest Nigerian diaspora organization in the world.
Now, do you think NAIDO is NAIDO getting it right in that responsibility? Because we hear stories like other groups, other associations that maybe do exactly what you do, and then some sort of conflict.
Okay, so that's a very great question, because let me say on the record that the reason, obviously, we all Nigerians, we understand the diabolic nature of leading Nigerians. So one core situation we're facing is that many of these organizations, as credible as they may be, were actually byproducts of NAIDO. They were formed by ex-leaders of NAIDO. It's important to note, by the way, that the intent of the government at the time when they initiated this was that we all come together as one Nigerians operating through one platform, so that we can have sort of like a coordinated voice.
Do you monitor activities of government here? Issues that have the pertain to diaspora?
So the commitment is unequivocal. It is really unparalleled. I mean, you have everything everybody can think of, from engineers to physicists to you name them. They are currently members of NAIDO.
Yes.
And their real core interest and excitement is an opportunity to give back.
Interesting.
That's why they spend their time and energy. We attend conferences. The government set up Diaspora Day conferences every year for the past 12, 13 years. And these men and women fly home on their own just to be able to have an opportunity to impact the governance in Nigeria, however insignificant it may be. And they don't get paid for that. So the excitement is really born out of self-dedication to give back.
But would you want a more robust engagement at that level? Would you want something a lot more structured?
And I'm glad you asked that question, because people think, well, we're just coming in to gain one thing or get appointment or be appointed this and that is totally false. That's a very wrong perspective. We're designed to be a give back, not necessarily to receive. Does that make sense? And I always tell people, look, it's best you define why you're coming in to join this organization.
Yes.
Because what creates this indignance or indifference is that when they come with all this wrong impression and things didn't go their way, they tend to sort of move away. You have that dissipative attitude towards the common vision of the organization. And I think something we need to underscore and correct as we move forward. And we're still working towards that.
What was the interaction like with somebody like Mrs. Abike Dabirewa?
She's like a full package, what you would, theoretically call a full package, in the sense that she's one lady that I've worked very closely with.
Yes.
That is, if she's on your side and you're serious and want to accomplish something very positive, she'll be right with you. She's very, quite frankly, a very effective member of our diaspora discourse.
Trump's presidency, especially that, because
Trump has not specifically said anything or attacked Nigerians.
How about
if he does, he will hear from NAIDO.
interesting.
Yes, that's what we do.
Yeah, but we hear Nigerians, making waves there, by what they do and all that.
Yes.
At this NAIDO, do you have a way of monitoring those people?
Oh, absolutely. We have a full database of all these exceptional Nigerians you're mentioning, starting with just recently the very 5 students that made it to the 5 Ivy League schools. We're all Nigerians, or from Nigerian parents, and still till date, the U.S. Bureau of Census data still has Nigeria as the most educated nationality in the entire United States.
Yeah.
That's not even a myth. We all know that. We feel that. And what we're looking for with the bills we pushed across is so that we can have some sort of a social contract with our government. It is no rocket science.
It's not.
Most major new economies like India, Malaysia, Singapore grew through the diaspora community. One of the charges we give our government is to look, peruse what you have.
That's a food for thought there. Well, engineer, you're an engineer.
Yes.
How do we benefit from who you are as a country?
And that's a good question also. I've been an IT professional for 18 years now. And as an individual, I've literally reached what they call corporate America. Being part of high-level IT professionals in America. I've been an IT consultant, an architect, and all of that in cloud technologies. And for me, I believe that I'm saturated in America. I don't really see what else America can give me. So I see myself having a lot of opportunity and knowledge to offer my country. But every one of us is looking for that soft landing, an ability to get a job if you want to, sort of migrate back over here.
Sure.
We are more than willing to do that. But it's part of what we're working to try to influence government in, sort of restructuring our society. It is really, it hurts to see that
It does hurt.
in 21st century, we are still struggling to build a civil society. We have to establish the rule of law. That is the only way why we envy the civil society. The only thing they have above us is the rule of law. Because they made a conscious decision to not only establish those, but create regulatory agencies that monitor and balance those and make sure those structures are applied.
How robust do you think the engagement between Nigerian government and diaspora should be?
What we haven't done, or rather grasped, in my own personal opinion, is the concept of citizenship. And that concept is essentially loving your country, wanting to be part of the solution as opposed to the part of the problem. Because until you love whoever, whether it's your state or your local government, you're not going to be effective.
That's true.
Does that make sense? That's what's fundamentally lacking. And I don't know how to fix that, but perhaps we can start from a structural phase, which is establishing that rule of law and enforcing it. Thank you so much.
Talking with you,
it's been a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Presidential aide on diaspora, Abike Dabirerewa, is passionate about diaspora engagement. She called on the Finance Minister, Kemi Adeosun, and this subject matter, the Diaspora Bond.
First and foremost, you know that the latest statistics show that Nigerians in the diaspora, as at 2016, remitted $35 billion to Nigeria. This is the highest in sub-Saharan Africa and the third largest anywhere in the world, next to China and India. So this is a huge population that cannot be ignored. But beyond the remittances, Nigerians in diaspora deserve to be engaged. Nigerians in diaspora deserve to be part of the programs and policies of government for the sake of every one of us. It's a symbiotic relationship. They need you, you need them. So we try to provide a structure to engage Nigerians in the diaspora. So apart from the remittances, we know that the issue of diaspora bond, we want you to enlighten us on the status and state of the diaspora bond. The law has been passed by the National Assembly, and we want to know when this bond will actually take off. Because a bond is an emotional thing. You feel that you're contributing to your country and investing in your country. So we want to know from you, Honorable Minister, when the bond will become a reality. We also want to know what you're doing about the diaspora housing scheme. And then we also want to know what are the other plans and programs you have for the diaspora. For instance, a lot of them have been coming home to invest. That is the reality. We need to work on a database of those coming to invest and what they've been investing. So, Honorable Minister, when we hear from you, your plans for your brothers and sisters in the diaspora, and you are an example of a Nigerian diaspora who came back home and is excelling and doing great things. So we need to encourage them, work with them, and create a platform. The guy who owns Gatwick Airport is a Nigerian, but we're looking for concession of our airports. So we can go on and on, but we believe that we want to work with you to engage Nigerians in the diaspora. Ireland, when Ireland was in recession, they got together 1,000 Irish in the diaspora, and they saved Ireland from recession. We can do the same thing with our diaspora brothers and sisters. We're talking about 15 million of them. No accurate database, I know they are much more than that, but they are doing great things all over the world, developing world economies, and will develop and help you with the Nigerian economy. So thank you for receiving us.
One of the strategies, one of the new initiatives that the Ministry of Finance is part of is a scheme called the Family Homes Fund. And the Family Homes Fund has two aspects for the diaspora. One is the Family Homes Fund is an affordable housing scheme. And what it does is it provides financing for the developers of housing, because what we've realized is that in Nigeria, we build houses one by one. So if you go down a street, every single house is different. If you go anywhere in the diaspora and you walk along a street, every house is the same. And that's because the economies of scale, the way in which you can get the cost of housing down is to build them mass. So we're funding developers who are building mass housing, 500 houses, 1,000 houses at a time. But in those same estates, we're also building houses that are equally affordable, not too expensive, which are available to diaspora to buy. These are ready-built houses. As you said, I'm a member of the diaspora, so I know one of the biggest challenges for people abroad is, how do I buy a house? I want to come back home. It's a common story, sending money to somebody, and then when you get here, you find out that their house is either not built or there's been a challenge. These are ready-built houses that the diaspora can buy directly, ready to move into, with water running, connected to power. We've already started in Nasarawa, we're in Ogun. They're already building. We're in Anambra, we're in Delta. So we're working with the state governments to build these houses, and these houses are affordable. They're around, I think the most expensive is around 15 to 18 million, and these are ready to move into. And I think it's going to make coming back to Nigeria a lot more palatable for people abroad, and they're not taking the risk of being duped. You're dealing with government. So you're getting a certificate of occupancy and your title is secure, and you can pay from abroad. These houses will be available in every state of the Federation. It's a federal project. The houses are not being built by government, they're being built by private contractors, and that's the Family Homes Fund. On the Diaspora bond, we're equally keen for that to take off. We're doing the Eurobond at the moment. That will be, we'll be out with the Eurobond in January. And as soon as that's completed, the next stage is the Diaspora bond, which, as you've said, the National Assembly has approved. We're very excited about this. We think that Nigerians want to support the development of Nigeria. They have funds that they're ready to invest in Nigeria, and they're keen on this product, and we're also very keen to get it out. So we're hoping that by March, the Diaspora bond will also be rolled out. Now, beyond that, of course, the investment opportunities in Nigeria are huge, and we think the Diaspora are part of the solution because they have the skills, they have the contacts, they have the exposure in many cases to come back into Nigeria to invest in businesses or to become staff of existing businesses in Nigeria. But what is important is to have that enabling environment where they feel comfortable coming back, and that's what we're working on. We encourage everybody in the Diaspora who have ideas and passion to come back to join the train of getting Nigeria to its full potential. We thank you because we know how passionate you are about our needs. A lot of work has been going on under the surface, and I think a lot of it will become much more visible in 2017. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
What could be more plausible? There's no gainsaying the fact that Nigerians, the government, and indeed diasporans are eager to explore a synergy that portends a quantum leap in our development aspirations.
Information and news updates. Visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
This is the Diaspora, in case you're just tuning in. It's now time to join our Diasporan of the Week, Austin Mobude, an entrepreneur. To support the federal government, Mr. Mobude says he has set up a business venture that has become a big employer of labor in Nigeria. Aaron Joy Osiago in Canada engaged him for the Diaspora.
It was not originally designed that I should relocate from Nigeria to Canada. I worked for Shell. I joined Shell in 1985 as a well site drilling engineer. And in the course of my career, I was on cross-posting to the Netherlands. I was in the Netherlands for about 6 years, from 2001 to 2006. That was when I decided to move my family down to Calgary for the kids' education. And I went back to Nigeria in 2006 and then became the drilling manager in Shell. Then got transferred again to Saudi Arabia. And I felt it got to the time where I needed to spend more time with my family. And I got an early retirement from Shell. In school, I was trained as a mechanical engineer, but I also did MBA at University of Benin. And in my career in Shell, I worked on the drilling rig, I worked in the office, I worked in contracting, finance, business management, project management. I started my business here in 2008. I bought a franchise called Mainiki Car Care Center, where we fix cars, and then grew very rapidly to 2 locations with close to 10 staff working for me here. By 2010, after 2 years, I felt the need to give back to the country, because at the end of the day, looking around Canada, I found out that Canadians made Canada what it is. And it dawned on me that we Nigerians have to make Nigeria to be what we want Nigeria to be. On the basis of that, I was motivated to go back home to set up a company. I didn't want to do it alone because I wasn't on ground. I decided to go into partnership with a friend of mine that I have trusted over the years, and we started a drilling company. And we have a rig that is drilling for Shell right now with quite a lot of staff. So we're into drilling rigs, we're into drilling services, we do industrial catering. So we're the first company to actually do indigenous industrial offshore catering. And we have well over 600 staff. The economy has slowed down that part of the business, but we are very active in the rig business right now. If we keep thinking that government is there to take care of 170 million people, we'll get it all wrong. We are part of government. There are good Nigerians. I still believe that Nigerians that are bad are probably not more than 10%. And we have bad people all over the world. I've traveled everywhere. There's almost no continent. I think I've been to all the continents of the world. And I have found out that there are bad people everywhere and there are good people everywhere. There are good people in Nigeria that we can form partnership with. And I use myself as a case study. If we identify a good person in Nigeria, we can partner with that person. That person may not be exposed to some capabilities that we have here in terms of financial resources, ability to, have access to loans or to technology. We can bring those to bear with the guy who is in Nigeria who has local experience. He's there, he understands, all the rudiments. Then we can team up with that fellow. And if we look at it from long-term point of view, chances are that it will be very successful. Part of the reason why partnership don't seem to do well in Nigeria is we bring in family members into it. Business should be between the people who are practicing the business. Leave family out of it. Two guys formed Share, what we call Share today. Just two friends started it. Slumiji, two friends started it. Take your family out of it. Set it up as a business, as a going concern. When you are able to pull your weight, then it becomes very convenient for government to support you. I agree that there are things that government has to do. But with the individuals, I think we have a lot to do. The common analogy that I give to people is, in a room that is dark, if a single person goes there to light up just a stick of candle, the illumination may not be strong enough. Then if a second person comes and puts another candle, it improves a little bit. By the time you have 170 million people coming to that room to light a candle each, that room becomes bright. We all have part to play. I may not be able to solve all the problems. No single person can solve all the problems of a country. But there is something that we can do, each person can do. If I take 200 guys off the streets of Nigeria and provide employment for them, and there are about 5 dependents on each of those 200 persons, my action is looking after over 1,000 people.
What more can I say, our worthy ambassador, as I leave you with this food for the mind. May we reinvent those days when people loved the truth and hated a lie. When preachers preached because they had the message and followers rejoiced because they had the victory. On behalf of the production crew, thank you.